In the shadow of the Great Pyramid, where the last light of Ra kissed the ancient stones, 9 women gathered in a circle that had been unbroken for 3,000 years. Their white robes moved like whispers in the desert wind, and their eyes held the depth of eternity itself. They were the keepers of the sacred 9, guardians of knowledge so profound that empires had risen and fallen merely to glimpse its truth. "The time approaches," spoke Neith, the eldest among them, her voice carrying the weight of accumulated wisdom. "The veil grows thin, and those who would destroy what we protect draw near." The circle stood in the hidden chamber beneath the Sphinx, where hieroglyphs told stories that predated recorded history. Here, in this sacred space, they had preserved the original teachings, the pure knowledge that had been given to humanity in the dawn of consciousness before it was fragmented and scattered across the world. Sekhmet, the youngest of the 9, stepped forward, her dark eyes reflecting the flame of the eternal torch. "Mother Neith, the Roman legions march closer each day. They seek not just our land, but our scrolls, our mysteries. They believe knowledge is power to be conquered." "And they are wrong," Neith replied, her weathered hands tracing ancient symbols in the air. "Knowledge is a living thing, a sacred trust. It cannot be conquered, only received by those who approach it with reverence." The 9 had been chosen not by birthright or ambition, but by the knowledge itself. Each had experienced the calling in her own way, through dreams that revealed hidden truths, through visions that showed the interconnectedness of all things, through moments of profound understanding that transcended ordinary perception. Isis, named for the goddess she served, spoke with the voice of one who had walked between worlds. "I remember when the calling came to me. I was but a child, playing in the reeds by the Nile, when I saw the great library of Alexandria burning in my mind's eye. But it was not fire that consumed it, it was forgetting. The most dangerous flames are those that burn in the hearts of men who no longer remember why knowledge is sacred." The others nodded, each carrying her own story of awakening. For in truth, the Circle of 9 was not merely a guardian order, it was a living bridge between the seen and unseen worlds, between the knowledge that could be written and the wisdom that could only be experienced. "Tell us again, Mother Neith," requested Hathor, whose gift was to perceive the music in all things. "Tell us why we were chosen to carry this burden." Neith's eyes closed, and when she spoke, her voice seemed to come from the very stones around them. "Long ago, when the gods still walked among mortals, they saw that humanity was ready for the great teaching, but they also saw that not all hearts were prepared to receive it without corruption. So they chose to entrust the deepest mysteries to those who would guard them not for power, but for love." She opened her eyes, and they blazed with inner fire. "We are the daughters of that trust. We carry within us the memory of the first word spoken in creation, the blueprint of the soul's journey, the keys to healing the great separation that wounds the world." The knowledge they protected was vast and multifaceted. There were scrolls that contained the true history of humanity's spiritual evolution, texts that revealed the hidden connections between the movements of the stars and the rhythms of the human heart. There were sacred geometries that could unlock the mysteries of manifestation and healing techniques that worked not just on the body, but on the very fabric of reality itself. But perhaps most precious of all was the living knowledge, the direct transmission of wisdom from teacher to student, the initiation rites that awakened dormant capacities within the human soul, the practices that allowed consciousness to expand beyond the boundaries of individual existence. "The Romans do not understand," said Nephthys, whose gift was prophecy. "They see our rituals and think them mere superstition. They hear our chants and dismiss them as primitive songs. They cannot comprehend that we are the keepers of humanity's most sacred inheritance. And that is why they will fail," Neith replied. "Truth cannot be seized by force. It reveals itself only to those who approach it with open hearts and minds, prepared by discipline and devotion." The chamber fell silent, except for the eternal whisper of wind through hidden passages. Each of the 9 felt the weight of responsibility that had been passed down through generations of guardians. They were not just protecting scrolls and artifacts, they were preserving the very possibility of human awakening. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our content. And tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We would love to know. As the night deepened, a messenger arrived, a young priest from the Temple of Thoth, his face grave with urgent news. "My ladies," he gasped, having run through the secret passages that connected the sacred sites. "The Roman commander Gaius Marcellus has discovered the location of the outer sanctuaries. He brings with him scholars who seek to catalogue and claim our mysteries for Rome." The 9 exchanged glances that spoke volumes. They had prepared for this moment, though they had hoped it would never come. Each carried within her memory the contingency plans that had been developed over centuries. The hidden caches where the most precious text could be concealed, the network of initiated guardians who could carry the oral teachings to distant land. "We must enact the Great Dispersal," Neith said, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was proposing. "The knowledge must be scattered like seeds on the wind to take root in distant soils and bloom again when the world is ready." Sekhmet's eyes flashed with defiance. "Must we abandon everything we have built? Cannot we fight?" "Child," Neith replied gently, "we do not fight with swords and shields. Our battle is fought in the realm of consciousness itself. By preserving the knowledge, we ensure its eventual return. By allowing it to be destroyed, we would lose it forever." The work began immediately. Some of the 9 would travel to distant lands, to the libraries of India, to the monasteries of Tibet, to the mystery schools of Greece. Others would remain, hiding the most sacred texts in places where they might survive the coming darkness. But the greatest challenge was not the physical preservation of manuscripts. It was the continuation of the living tradition, the direct transmission of wisdom that could not be written down, only passed from consciousness to consciousness. "We must choose successors," said Isis, her voice heavy with the weight of decision. "Not just women but men as well. The knowledge belongs to all humanity, not just to our circle." And so, in the final nights before the Romans reached the hidden sanctuary, the 9 performed their most sacred duty. They initiated a new generation of guardians, passing on not just information, but the very flame of understanding that had been kindled in the early days of the world. To a young physician, they taught the healing arts that worked through love rather than mere technique. To a philosopher, they revealed the mathematical principles that connected the movement of atoms to the dance of galaxies. To a poet, they showed how words could become vessels for transformation itself. Each new guardian was sworn to secrecy, but also to service. They would carry the knowledge into the world, not as a treasure to be hoarded, but as a gift to be shared with those who were ready to receive it. The last ceremony took place as dawn broke over the ancient land. The 9 stood once more in their circle, but now they knew it was for the final time. The age of the centralized mystery schools was ending, but the age of the scattered wisdom was beginning. "Remember," Neith said, her voice carrying across the centuries that would follow, "the knowledge is not ours to possess. We are merely its servants, its guardians, its humble vessels. In scattering it, we do not lose it. We set it free to fulfill its true purpose." One by one, the 9 departed the sacred chamber. Some would die protecting the locations of hidden caches. Others would live long lives in distant lands, establishing new schools under different names. A few would simply disappear, becoming legends whispered in the marketplace, their true fate known only to the knowledge itself. But they had succeeded in their greatest task. The wisdom survived, hidden in plain sight, woven into the fabric of human culture. It lived on in the sacred geometries of cathedrals, in the healing practices of folk medicine, in the mystical traditions of every religion, in the scientific discoveries that would one day reveal the underlying unity of all existence. The circle of 9 was broken, but the circle of wisdom was eternal. In every generation, new guardians would arise, drawn by the same calling that had summoned the original 9. They might not know their predecessors' names, but they would carry forward the same sacred trust. And so the knowledge waited, patient as the desert itself, ready to reveal itself to those who approached with the humility to receive it, the courage to protect it, and the wisdom to know when and how to pass it on. The Roman legions found empty chambers and blank walls. They never understood that the greatest treasures are not those that can be carried away, but those that live in the hearts of those who truly comprehend their value. In the end, the silence of the 9 spoke louder than any words. Their sacrifice ensured that the light of wisdom would never be extinguished, only hidden until the world was ready to see it shine again. And if you like this story, you will definitely love the next one that's appearing on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, leave your like, and activate the notifications. See you in the next one.